I hope everyone is staying safe and doing well. So I've shared my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. We have a couple of people joining us, and our goal is to hopefully have enough of a quorum so that we can take action on the extended day option. Our online meeting norms, it is just a good practice if you would mute your mic so that we could make sure that we can hear each other clearly, be present. Of course, not being there in face-to-face, we have to be present on our screens and readily available to talk. Share the air. If there's some discussion items, please share the air and be solution-oriented. So last time we talked about a camera and taking a picture. This one was shared by our SEL coach, Mr. Tolliver, and it was a really good one. So just to kind of uplift our crew and our community and our Go team, don't let your ice cream melt while you're counting others' sprinkles. So focusing on our own ice cream and focusing on our own sprinkles is really, really very important. So I've had to learn this lesson, and I think that has been very a good lesson for this particular time, always looking at what others are doing and not realizing that we have to focus on our own ice cream. All right. I'm going to ask Ms. Howard if you will conduct roll call so that we can go ahead and approve the agenda items. So if you'll do Roman numeral number 2.
Yeah, so good afternoon, Go Team members. I'm going to ask that you use your chat box for attendance today. So please just type in here or present when I call your name. Dr. Diamond Ford, Miss Audrey Hines, Miss Gilo Tisdale, Dr. Beverly Tatum, Miss Nicole Riggins, Miss Sylvia Russell.
Hi, it's Sylvia. I'm on the road, so I'll just be listening in. I won't be able to touch my phone.
No worries.
Thank you.
Got you. Please be safe. Miss Sherry Bilal, Miss Natasha Clark Grant, Miss Nicole Jones, and I'm Linda Howard.
All right. Well, let me type in my yes. And let's get on back into the PowerPoint. So this meeting was specialty called. I know that it was not on your agenda, but this is the agenda for it, and I would just like to get your approval of the agenda. First, we're going to look at item number 3, the action item, which is extended day approval. There are no discussion items or anything up for discussion for this meeting. However, there are information items. I'll be sharing with you the budget cuts that have been that have happened to our FY21 budget for the upcoming school year, additional COVID information in terms of pre-planning, the plan from the district, and then the principal's report, which I'll be introducing the new assistant principal, and then there'll be public comment chat available. May I have an approval of the agenda as it has been written and presented? A motion to approve.
I send a motion.
All right. I hear a motion to approve. And I hear a second. So I think that is what I heard. And we will move on with the agenda as it's printed. So for extended day, we had a public comment period prior to COVID-19, and we had about 24 responses. We extended those, the public comment, because our public comment, it ended, or the week that it ended was right at March 16th through the end of that week, which was the 22nd or so. And of course, we were going home because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we extended our feedback period to get more input after our last Go Team meeting. And so our results were on the next slide here, which is now we have 41 responses. So we did not get a great improvement in responses, but we did extend the window so that we can have a full opportunity for our community to weigh in. 25 participants, or 61%, said yes, they were in favor of extended day. 16 or 39% said no, they are not in favor. So based on the data here, we have about 61% or 25 participants that participated in the survey that said that they were in favor. Some of the comments that were in The survey that they put in, the 30 minutes should be dedicated for specific learning goals because 30 minutes does go by quickly, and that 15 minutes could easily just be used for preparing to do something. And I do agree we'll have to manage and watch that. Another comment, the day would be too long for smaller children. And we certainly understand the concern that the extra 30 minutes might have for our younger students. The third comment, I can see how it would be better for lower school. We are hardly receiving via virtual learning what our children would receive in the physical classroom. And our fourth comment, much needed, more learning time, Team Hollis. And our fifth comment was extend the school day is not fair for lower level kids. Middle school children still have enough seat time. I think the change of things now is ridiculous. So those are the 5 comments that we received from our public comment. At this point, we're going to open it up to talk a little bit more and then also take a vote. So here is the voting scenario here. Prior to leaving the school due to the pandemic of COVID-19, the Hollis Go team presented for public comment an extended day option. We proposed a 30-day extension to the end of the school day. The school day would be from 8 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. This proposal creates equity in seat time for the middle school students. Since we are a unified campus, the extended day would also include elementary grade pre-K through 4. So we are going to pause for a second. Is there anything that any of our Go teams need to say or have questions about related to extended day vote?
Dr. Ford, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we know if the district is still going ahead with extending the day as well? Because I know in the last meeting we spoke, you did indicate that that would also be an additional 30 minutes on top of that for us, for the elementary levels. So do we know where the district stands with that as of now?
We do not. I do not know what the district has proposed for extended day. It was a verbal suggestion made, but there has been no action in the board for extending the instructional day. Okay, any other questions in the chat or verbal? So our goal today is to do our formal voting. If we have a quorum of 5, and I believe, Ms. Howard, we have 5 on the line.
That's correct.
Okay, very good. So I know that Sylvia is driving, so we'll do a verbal vote for you, Sylvia. But please use the chat to type in your vote if you are for or against this proposal to extend the day an additional 30 minutes. All in favor, please type yes.
This is Gilo. I'm also not able to type.
Okay, well, Ms. Howard, would you record the verbal response for Gilo and Sylvia? Gilo, your response?
I'm in favor.
All right. Sylvia, your response? Not sure if she can hear us. All right, all opposed, please type your response as no in the chat. Linda, if you could review and tell us how many yeses and how many noes.
This is Sylvia. I vote yes.
Okay, thank you. Linda, would you record Sylvia Russell's response as a yes? Okay. All right, once you have typed in, Ms. Howard, would you tell us how many yeses we have from our Go team and how many noes?
Based on our vote, we have 8 yeses and we have 0 noes.
0 noes, and that's all Go team members?
We are just one Go team member is not present.
Okay, very good. All right, so based on that vote, we will move ahead and inform our Go team district office. Again, transportation has already been organized, and the plan from the district level is a yes, they can support us. They were waiting on our public comment to close and also a formal vote from our Go team. And so with that being said, today we have a formal yes for extended day, and we will push forward with this flexibility. So thank you, Go Team, for your support on the extended day flexibility. All right, now we're moving into the juicy part, which is the budget cuts. We have an update from the district. About 2 weeks ago, we were informed that our budgets would have to be become a little bit more lean due to some funding shortages to the district. And so this presentation is part of that. And the executive summary of the budget cuts, and this is some information that has a lot of numbers, so I'll read it a little bit slowly. So due to the decrease in state revenue, all Georgia state agencies must decrease their FY21 expenditures by at least 14%. This has resulted in a significant reduction in the Atlanta Public Schools FY21 projected budget. The Hollis previous budget was $9,769,418. Our current proposed budget is $9,306,930. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, how are you? Hello, my custodians are here. So we have a huge we have a huge decrease in our budget, and this difference is being taken from a 2% reserve, 1.8% reduction to student service funding, textbook adoption for 6 through 12 and other areas. So we're at a point on this budget, basically, that they have swept all of my reserves. They have changed the SFF funding, and I had to come up with, in addition to them taking a lot of funds from different places from our budget, we had to come up with an additional $98,000 for the budget. So, you know, our school priorities, they have not changed at all. And so the slides are the same for the school budget in terms of priorities. So we have not added any budgets. But what I will say is that we have maintained in our budget everything that supports the classroom. So basically that $400,000 that has been ciphered off from our budget has not affected our classrooms. So our REP teachers that you see here that have been requested have remained. We have an REP for reading, and we have EIP intervention teachers. So those remained, which were necessary and are necessary as we get back into the school year. We also have a special education lead teacher. However, we were not able to cover that. So I'm happy to say that that was covered through the Westside Future Fund. So that has been supported. So that has not been a reduction from the classroom. The Westside Future Fund has supported us in that. So we're very thankful for that. We are on point and on par to have our master teachers, so that did not affect the instruction of the classroom either. So our master teachers are also going to remain in the budget. And we also have our JROTC instructor. We also have our EIP writing teacher, and we also have our SST, our TI, and our assistant principal. The only thing that we look to the budget to cut to cover the $98,000 that was still in the red for the cut was our school-based business manager. We felt that because we needed to make a cut, we had to think about how do we not affect the classroom and the instructional environment. And we know that the school-based business partner is a administrative level position that we can do without, knowing that we're bringing on an assistant principal. We'll just split the duties. So I'll leave it here to talk a little bit more, and we can talk, and I can answer any questions you have about the budget reduction right now.
Dr. Jack, this is Beverly Tatum. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yeah. So I wanted to just ask, I mean, it's to your credit that you have not had to do anything that impacts academic program, but obviously, you know, cuts are hard to deal with.
Yes.
You know, we at the Westside Future Fund are still trying to raise dollars. So our hope is that we'll be able to, you know, provide additional resources. Though, as I'm sure you can appreciate, you know, this whole COVID-19 thing is making it hard for everybody to, because, you know, funds are directed elsewhere.
Yes.
But, you know, just from your understanding from APS, do you have any anticipation, is there any possibility that there'll be more dollars later?
I don't anticipate that there'll be more dollars later. I understand the district had to come up with a $60 million shortfall in terms of shoring up the gap. Unless there is any other federal money or state money that comes down, I don't know of any other at this time. I don't think so. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pleased that our classrooms did not get impacted. But one of the things that I am anticipating, as I did talk to my staff, and some of them are on here now, is that materials and supplies, things like that, our contract with EL, some of those other things have had to be zeroed out. So we have zeroed out, and our contract for EL that line is zeroed out. Other professional development, of course, travel has been taken off. No, there is no travel or field trips at this time. So none of those lines have funds on them. I don't know if those will become available later, but right now, all of our funds that we do have in terms of additional money that's on the budget, because I had some money left over because it was only $98,000 that I basically had to come up with from my, end. So I had a little bit of wiggle room. So I put every dollar and dime on materials and supplies because I anticipate that there's going to be a need for either distance learning or, resources that have to be replenished. I know my library needs to be replenished. A lot of books were taken from our library for the COVID-19 for students at home. So we're just anticipating that some of those instructional resources might be needed as we come back.
What does it mean that you had to cancel your EL contract? Does that mean you won't be doing EL curriculum, or what does that mean?
Well, that means that our contract usually is about $60,000, and with Westside Future Fund support, we normally do a matching. I do half, and then Westside does the other half. So at this point, I've had to take the $30,000 that I would have earmarked for that off the line. It's been swept off, and so now I either have to come up with the extra $30,000 to do the matching for the contract. So right now, I think in terms of our materials and supplies, it's on the line, and I haven't moved it to contracts only because I'm not sure of what other reductions or if there's anything else that may happen to the budget. So it's sitting on materials and supplies. So I could potentially do it, but that means I have to take from materials and supplies.
But if the contract is canceled, what does that mean? Like, what are they providing that you won't have?
On-site professional development. We won't be able to go to some of our professional development conferences that we normally do. So coaching support, leadership support. So those are some of the things. And just thinking in terms of what that means for next year, I don't know if we'll be able, I don't know what the district will say in terms of having vendors come into the school building. I know there's been some talk in terms of safety, whether we'll have outside vendors coming into the school in and out. So I'm trying to determine, is it prudent to forego the contract next year? Because there may not be the opportunity for folks to come in to do professional development or for me to send staff out. And so I don't want to possibly do a contract and not take full advantage of all the opportunities for it.
I got you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions? All right. So we will revisit next year, definitely, our school-based business manager position. But at this time, we are going to rely in terms of the structures that are needed for the front office and for the organizational structure and the administrative structure to have the 3 assistant principals and 1 principal model, and we'll revisit that. I think we already have questions. Are there any other questions that I can answer for you? Right. So we are currently, I'm at Hollis today because we are allowing, the district is now allowing for limited access to the building, staff members who are transferring or transitioning from the district or retiring. So we have a few staff that are doing that, about 5. But it is a very, very restrictive process, and it is not an opportunity for parents and students to come to the building. So if there is some questions as to why cars are at Hollis, it is really because we have approval, a district approval process to allow these 5 individuals in the building. We have a plan, the district rolled out a plan that during pre-planning, which is August 3rd through 7th, that staff will be allowed in the building, and their days to be in the building will really depend on a 25% cap of the capacity of the building. And my capacity cap at 25% is about 266 people. So that means on certain days I may have a certain group, and on another day I may have another group. But the parents and students will be able to come in the building to retrieve any materials and supplies that they had here since March on August 6th and 7th. And that's when we'll do all of our reimbursements that they are due. They can pick up jackets, material supplies that they may have left. But that is pretty much the general information related to coming back into Hollis at this time. I'll pause for any questions here related to this issue. Okay. Hearing none, Linda. Yes.
There was one question in the chat box, Dr. Ford.
Yes, ma'am.
How will this cap affect us when school reopens?
That is a very good question. That is one of my questions in terms of a 25% gap. Is that a cap? Is that only for pre-planning, or will that carry over to the beginning of the school year? That has not been answered just yet. I know we have another call tomorrow to have some questions answered in clarity, because surely we would not be able to maintain that gap. We have 790. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're almost up to 800 plus. We have the additional staff, which is 140 people. So we're at capacity 100%. So I don't know what the expectation is the following Monday after August 3rd through 7th. Any other questions? All righty. At this time, I'd like to welcome, due to our budget this year, we were able to add an additional assistant principal to the Hollis crew. We'd like to welcome Mr. Lamar Billups to our crew. He's the assistant principal for 7th and 8th grade. I invited Mr. Billups to come on to the Go Team meeting today just to say a few words and to welcome him. So Mr. Billups, if you're here, you can unmute your mic and say a few words if you'd like to.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ford. Greetings to all of the Go Team members. It is truly a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for the invite. I am already becoming acclimated to the Hollis crew. I hear great things about the Go Team from Dr. Ford, and just her passion and love for you guys really has shown through just in the way she speaks of you all. And just sitting through this meeting and seeing the level of engagement and the questions that are being asked and just the support that you guys are garnering and offer up for Hollis is very refreshing. So I am excited and ecstatic to be a part of the crew and just look forward to some great work.
Are there any questions for Mr. Billups? If you would like to ask him any questions to get to know him more, then we'll take this time to allow you to do that. Right? Hearing none, I will just say that Mr. Billups comes to us from Cleveland Elementary as an assistant principal there. And I will also say that he has been in leadership positions several years prior to that, either as a campus leader or administrator, opening a charter school. He's from Florida. And so we're very excited to have his years of experience and his passion. He's very passionate about our youth and spent many years in education, but I would highlight that some of his years were spent at my alma mater, Mays High School. So thank you, Mr. Billups, for coming on to our team, and I look forward to working with you and getting our 7th and 8th graders ready for high school, which I know you know a lot about. So thank you. All right. Ms. Howard, this is time for public comments or questions, and we'll go ahead and open that forum now if there are any other questions or public comment at this time.
We had one additional question in regards to just reopening the school in the chat box.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any post-pandemic preparedness plan for online learning? For example, have come in and some stay home or a hybrid style learning because of COVID?
Yes, and there has been discussions. I know that there are several plans that are out on the discussion table at the district level. I unfortunately, I don't have that particular information, but I do know and understand that there has been a lot of talk and discussion about how do we prepare or how do we utilize distance learning in the event that there is another COVID-19 outbreak, and also extending distance learning. So that is being discussed, and I'm hoping that they will have more information for us as the summer goes on. But certainly, I know that those discussions are happening. Any other questions or public comment at this time? All right, well, I want to thank everyone for coming online and listening to our update on our budget and understanding some of the shortfalls that we have. It was quite a blow to hear that we were going to be reduced by that much, but thankfully we do not have any impact on our classroom. So this PowerPoint presentation and also the recordings will be available online so that you can hear, see, and engage with the PowerPoint if you were not able to join our Go team. Linda, I believe we have another question in the chat that popped up.
Yes, Dr. Ford, Dr. Tatum would like to know how they can best support us at this time.
Yes, thank you. And I think one of the things that we would like to do is, you know, the information is rapidly changing and rolling, and I want to try and get as much information from the district in terms of what the general plan is for, like the previous question, what is the plan for distance learning? I know that Hollis has received a grant from the state for computers, but I don't know if there is another plan from the district. So some of these things are gaps that I don't know, that I don't want to start fielding and requesting support until I get the full picture. So I'm hoping that during midsummer, we'll have a little bit more. We have a leadership conference set for the second week of June. And I'm hoping that some of those distance learning questions are answered, because we've certainly come to a crossroad where we see that there is a lot of equity gap that we need, and we need to shore up our technology supports for our parents and students at home, whether or not it's going to be books that we provide them specifically to go home for distance learning. Do we need to invest in a school-wide workbook of some sort in addition to, so that students who don't have access are not left behind? So I am going to filter out and see what the district is doing and stay closely connected with that so that I can make the best recommendation on how to move forward as a community.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. Well, I appreciate everyone. Please continue to stay safe. And if there are any other questions or comments for public comment, we can take those in the chat. I'll stay online for another few minutes. But if you are, you have no other questions, then you can exit the meeting. We are available on Twitter and Facebook. So please connect with us. So you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, also Instagram. You can call our school number. We are answering the calls and responding to those calls daily, and information is updated regularly on our website. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Thank you.